Hey, this is Willie. You're going to have to excuse the mess. I'm getting ready for a tractor pull. But in this video, I'm going to go over some electrical tricks and some safeties for tractor pulls. So make sure you stay tuned. Okay, since building this engine with billet rods, pistons, and upgraded valve train and everything, I've had to add an electric fuel pump to it in order to feed all the extra horses. And tractor pull rules state you can't have an aftermarket fuel pump, but you can have OEM style pumps. They don't want people putting too much pressure and causing any problems or blowing out carburetors or anything like that, or pushing past the carburetor to get extra power. So what this is a piston style pump, a low pressure pump from like a Honda lawn tractor, 3813. There's a couple other models out there, 38 being the inch of the cut and then 13 being the horsepower of the mower, from early 90s. And what I did to power that is I hooked into the PTO power. And then another problem is you have to have that hooked up to your sled safety. And a lot of people don't know exactly where to go as for sled safeties. This is what a sled safety is. You have to have it within 6 inches of the center of the machine. And you have to have at least a 1-inch hook on it so the track techs can hook up onto that easily. And it's a breakaway, so if your chain ever comes up unhooked or something breaks, this comes apart and shuts the tractor down instead of going out of control. Okay, this is just a trailer breakaway switch. So it's just an open circuit and then it grounds out when you pull this pin. Same thing with the seat safety, a dead man switch. Is an open circuit until you let off of it and it grounds it out. So these are hooked together. So I have a ground and then a ground signal going out to the front. And these are pretty easy bolt onto the frame somewhere. So very simple trailer breakaway switch hookup. And then I tied it in with the seat safety switch. And moving up into the front, I had to integrate the seat safety switch with the fuel pump. So what I did is I added a relay here. I got some wiring somewhere around here. Let me grab it. Hoping you can see this good. Anyway, there's 5 pins on here, just representing the pins on the relay over here. Okay. Now we took what was originally the PTO ground and we hooked it into the bottom of this relay. Right here, bottom pin. Okay. And when the switch is in its normally closed position, the ground just goes right to the fuel pump. There's continuity between these, the middle and bottom pin. I think this is 30 and 87A, and it runs out here to the fuel pump. Then the next thing is we have positive power coming from the PTO switch, right here. Okay, key is off right now. So the PTO will feed positive to the side of the relay and will also feed the positive side of the fuel pump. So here's that positive on the right side of the relay, and then it's spliced into the positive power going to the fuel pump, which is from the switch over here. Okay, and then on top we have the key switch ground signal, which would ground the ignition out, being this is a magneto. When we send ground to this top pin, it grounds out the ignition and shuts the engine off. Okay, so that'll be this one on top. It has 2 wires. One of these wires goes to the key switch, and then the other one's running right up to the engine and the kill wire post up under here. Okay, we'll plug that back in. And then the last one is our ground signal from the seat and the sled kill, which feeds this left side of the relay right here. Okay. So this is our ground signal that then completes the circuit. So when this gets ground from the safety switches and positive power from the fuel pump, it'll close this relay, and then you'll have continuity between the bottom pin and this top pin. And it'll cut the negative from the fuel pump and shut the fuel pump off, and then ground the ignition. So you always have either power ground to the fuel pump or ground to the ignition. There's nothing in between, so you can't have both of them getting ground at the same time. So I have my stand-in right here for the seat. So if I turn this on, there's no clicking from the pump. And if I turn the switch on, you'll hear it click right there. And if I take this off, it will not click. So that safety is now tripped. It will not pump fuel, and the ignition is now grounded. And if you listen, I'm going to push on the seat on and off, and you'll hear the fuel pump kick on and off. Now I'm off the seat. And now I'm going to get back on it, and it clicked. It's primed up now, so it's not going to continue clicking. So that's now integrated with the seat and the safety kill. Now, one nice thing about hooking up the fuel pump to the PTO on this is it gives you the option to turn the fuel off, and then you can run the engine out of fuel. So if you run alcohol, it gives you a chance to drain the alcohol out of the engine. And you can also switch it back to gas as well, as if you wanted to. And another nice thing about this tractor is this seat and sled safety do not work if the PTO is off. So if I'm letting it run out of fuel, I don't have to sit on the tractor to wait for it to run out of fuel. I can do other things if I have to as well. So that's all integrated, and that's factory wiring on this as well. I did unhook the brake safety and the start circuit off of the PTO switch. The crank circuit will work no matter what. That's not hooked into the clutch anymore, nor the PTO. But not a big deal, but hopefully you find that helpful. And if you liked the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.